Okay. Welcome everyone to my post Ironman Des Moines race recap and chit chat. Obviously won the race, thrilled to have won. As a professional, it's always great to get a win, and yeah, a pretty dominating win. I think I won by just over 20 minutes. So yeah, I'll just take you through the race. The night before the race, I tried to be in bed by 7 p.m., which I was. My alarm was set for 2:30 a.m. And so I wanted to get as much sleep as possible. Probably was sleeping by around 8 p.m. and woke up like every 2 hours after that. And I was awake from 2 a.m. on pretty much. But I felt pretty good. Like I woke up, felt great. Was excited to just get going. I think I've mentioned this before, but like the worst part of an Ironman for me is honestly probably the 24 hours before, just the final drop off your gear and then anticipation of getting the day going. It's just like not my favorite part of doing an Ironman. Do the day before a race.
Which is what? Tell the people.
200 easy, 8:6:42 by 50 on descending time cycles and with some, get out speed, and then 200 easy.
Where are we at? What's the name of this place?
This is called Ashworth Swimming Pool, and Lindsay Corbin told me they have secret lap swimming from 12 to 1. So here we are. The YMCA was closed, but honestly, this is better. This is outdoors. I'm loving the trees, the insects, the birds.
The birds are chirping.
Yeah. Yeah, do you want me to do it or do you want to do it? And I said, I'll do it. So just like with the pillows in my Airbnb, you don't get what you don't ask for. Very important lesson in life. 50-meter pool. Set the goggles up. Basically a lifeguard here. Taking care of business. Okay. My gear bags. Hey, do you want to stay right here and I'll go get the gear bags?
Take a picture.
No, but I know I'm going to be on the right in the first row. How does that look? Super cool. As long as it's not too wet and slippery. All right. And then I was going to cover matching electrical tape
Like I use black electrical tape. If purple's an option, we choose purple.
So I'm thrilled the closer we get to the start line, the better I'm feeling. So I stayed pretty close to downtown and was able to just walk and go get on the shuttle. We all had to shuttle to the swim start, which was fine. It was quite a short drive. And got all set up in transition. It was pitch black and you could tell immediately it was going to be a very warm day because, I had my usual sweats and jacket on and I was sweating just setting up my transition. So I knew, okay, it's gonna be warm. This is the humidity here. Plus my bike was just soaked, from sitting there overnight. So setup was good, no drama. Got down to the swim start, figured out the swim course because I hadn't seen it all the way yet. And yeah, the swim venue was great. I mentioned this on my Instagram recently. It was a super engaging swim, 2 loops, and an Australian exit where you come run out across a beach. There's this peninsula in the middle of the lake, both loops. So it was a lot of fun. The swim start for this race was nice. The field was quite small. I don't know how many women started, maybe 10 or 11, which makes for a pretty smooth swim start. Bigger fields, like the championship races or just bigger races, get pretty hectic, like bodies, arms, legs, everywhere. And with less women, you just kind of get going and don't get too caught up in other people. So I kind of scoped out who I thought would be good to swim with and, started appropriately and got going and immediately got on the feet of Brittany Vaughn, I think her name is. And she's a great swimmer and I just held her feet the whole swim. The swim was super smooth the first lap, no chop or anything. And then once age groupers got in on the second lap, it was a little bit wavier, but no problem. Came out with Brittany and Leslie Smith was on my feet. So I knew I wanted to try to open up a gap as quickly as possible getting on the bike, and I felt confident that I would be able to do that. So straight away, let's back up to transition. The transition was extremely long, which is fine, but then I was so thinking about what I was gonna do to get my helmet on and get ready to go on the bike and getting my sleeves back up that I got in the change tent, put my helmet on, and then forgot to pull down my swim skin. So I literally almost did the bike with my swim skin on. I ran out of the tent a few steps and immediately probably yelled to myself, I have my swim skin on, and then just ran right back in and took it off quickly. So rookie move there. But I'm glad I remembered it before I ran all the way to my bike because that would have taken added minutes instead of seconds. So that was one little hiccup on my day, almost doing the bike in my swim skin. But then once I got on the bike, I was just like, okay, see ya, Leslie. I gotta go. And just kind of pulled away. And yeah, I heard maybe an hour and a half in, I heard that my gap had opened up to 6 minutes or so. And then it kind of just kept growing from there. So yeah, the bike was a lot of fun, rolling hills. It was fun to be off the front and just kind of setting my own pace. Not that I wasn't going hard, but it was a totally different race experience, compared to St. George or something where you're chasing or trying to, it's just a totally different experience being off the front by yourself and opening up a huge gap. So it's just a nice steady effort. I could really focus on making sure I had very intentional nutrition and, everything just went really well on the bike because there was no panic or no, trying to stay with anyone. It was just kind of whatever worked for me. The roads in Des Moines were pretty nice. Some of them were pristine, literally perfect. And then some of them were quite rough, or the road wasn't rough, but every 5 meters or something, you'd get the bump because the concrete was dropping, or I don't even know how to describe it, cracks in the road every so often. So there were some bumpy sections, but overall I was quite happy with how nice the roads were. And Another thing I remember during this bike, pros and cons of being in the lead. I would say a con of being in the lead, and if the race is being televised, is you literally have to listen to a motorcycle engine for 8 hours. Like the entire bike, you can just hear this motorcycle in your ear, and then same on the run, if the motorcycle's with you, you're just listening to this engine going for 8 hours. So anyway, I thought that to myself on the bike. I'm like, man, it's actually kind of annoying. You have to listen to this the whole time. But I tried to block it out. So yeah, the bike went great. There was definitely no hiccup or drama there. And then I heard by the time I got into T2 that I think my gap was 16 or 17 minutes, or maybe it was only 14 or 15 at the time. Anyway, but it was quite significant. And of course, though, I didn't want to rely on that gap because you never know who's coming from behind, or you don't know how the marathon's going to go. You know, anything is possible over the course of a marathon. And I knew that the weather was going to be getting really hot. So starting out on the run felt really great. And I think we still had some cloud cover, so it wasn't, it didn't feel super, super hot starting off. But then quite quickly, the sun came out and the run took you around the lake, and there were a couple out and backs like behind the lake, and you're just surrounded by tall grass and trees. And let me tell you, the humidity there was so intense. Like it was just so hot and humid, and at one point the wind was at your back, so then it was like no air movement, no airflow. So that right away on the first lap, I was like, okay, this is serious. Like this is gonna be a hot run. Once I got to that out and back vegetation area, and it was a 3-loop run course, so I knew, you know, like if this spot is just particularly an oven, I'm gonna be back here 2 more times. So I just purely focused on, you know, my run form and hydrating and fueling well and doing my best, what I thought would be best for me on the run. I don't carry all my fuel on the run. I take out a couple gels with me and then use run course nutrition. I did put a couple gels and a banana in special needs on the run, just in case I wanted to have my own stuff or just really wanted like an entire banana mid-run. But I didn't end up ever taking that. I just used the gels on course and Coke and Gatorade and all that that's at the aid stations. And I definitely, every single aid station, it was like water for cooling, ice everywhere just to stay cool. And that helped a lot. It was amazing to get fully iced up, and then by the next aid station I was cooked and ready for the next ice stop. So the run was a lot of fun. I loved the 3 loops. It was great. We ran around the lake and then would get downtown and get all the energy of the city and the spectators and things. And to me, the city actually felt cooler. I think, you know, having like the taller buildings and the shade and getting out of all the vegetation, it felt a little bit cooler. So that was nice. And yeah, I heard on the run, you know, my lead kept extending. So there, I did have a bit of a dark patch. I would say between 5 and 10K left on the run, I started feeling like my stomach just kind of started feeling not great. I mean, I was fine, but I was a bit uncomfortable, and I was thinking, okay, I could stop and use the toilet and probably feel better, or I could risk not stopping, but then risk maybe having issues and then dealing with like a rash and chafe, if you know what I mean. Like if you pass up a toilet and then you have to go and you just go, then you're dealing with like severe chafing after the race. I've had this happen before. So I made the choice with my 20-minute lead. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna stop, I'm gonna use the toilet, I'm gonna take advantage of this lead, and I'm gonna finish comfortably and not have to deal with a very chafed area of my body after the race. So yeah, I think it must have been mile 21 or something, maybe 22. I stopped and used the bathroom and then got on with it, and actually felt better after I used the toilet. So Yeah, the lesson I've learned in training and racing, like I just said, sometimes you don't want to pass up a toilet because you can be okay 1 second and then 20 seconds later it's just like game over, you can't even control yourself, and then you regret passing that toilet. So if it had been a close race or, you know, like a championship style race, I definitely wouldn't have considered stopping, but in this case, it was okay. So yeah, finished first and was super happy to get to that finish line. With the heat and everything, it felt so nice to get some cold water on me and know that I wasn't going to pass out, and I finished the race. So with that, I thought I would address a couple things I have heard post-race comments from a few people. So I've had probably at least 5 or 6 people tell me that my race kit looks like I'm carrying a camelback or a backpack because of these black strips here. And I just wanted to show everyone and assure everyone I am not carrying a backpack. And I think this material here on my Asos triathlon suit is probably a proprietary fabric. As far as I know, it only comes in black, but maybe I'll see if they can make it in purple for me. But I don't really see the backpack thing. I mean, I can kind of see like the straps here, but anyway, to me it's just my suit. And then I did get some other questions about this thing coming off my back on the back panel, and this is a little loop that opens up this back ice pocket. So I don't know how many of you watched the live broadcast, but literally every aid station I would pull the loop and dump a cup of ice. And so I just had ice in my back melting down like the entire run. So that is what this little thing is. So anyway, I love my suit. It's very nice. And it doesn't have a backpack attached to it. Just wanted to show everyone. What else? So that kind of concludes my Ironman racing until Kona. I will not be starting another Ironman until Kona. Now, you know, I'll get some rest, bit of a break, and then I'll be building towards the PTO Canada Open and the Collins Cup and the PTO US Open, and then Kona, you know, Kona's going to be here before we know it. So yeah, I said in my pre-race video, one of the reasons I wanted to do Des Moines was to experience the heat and humidity, and I definitely feel like I can check that box. Obviously, it's not going to be the exact same as Kona, but it was pretty intense humidity and heat in Des Moines, and I'm pretty happy with how it went. You know, I never felt like I was losing my brain function or muscle function or, you know, these crazy things that can happen on the marathon in extreme conditions. So obviously there's always more dialing in you can do. So I'll be taking a closer look at, you know, maybe what I think I could do better to make sure I'm set for that marathon in Kona. Don't want to have any toilet stops, but in terms of like the function and feeling good, that I think went pretty well for the heat and humidity in Des Moines. So yeah, I think my body handled it quite well. And thank you everyone for watching, and thank you for all the comments and, you know, kind words of support and congratulations. It really means a lot. And I try to get back to anyone who has questions or comments on YouTube. So if you like the video, don't forget to like and subscribe, and of course any comments are welcome. And we'll catch you on the next one.